All right, so I think right now we can finally start with the Q&A session, and I see that there are some questions coming. So, Paul, would you like to go through them yourself, or would you like me to read them out loud for you?
I can handle it.
Okay, perfect.
Do you always recommend to save the quiz someplace else in your computer? I would recommend creating a folder specifically for quiz files. When we publish something, we get a published version that cannot be turned back into something we can edit. So it's better to keep your files safe in the format that can be edited, and you can create a folder for that, save them there. When you have a folder full of quizzes created like this, you can then reuse them. For example, if you have iSpring suites, you can then open the presentation and import one of those files easily. So you're not limited to just using them standalone if you save them that way. Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's actually the same question. Can I publish a quiz in Google Drive too? Um, There was a time when Google Drive allowed you to host HTML5 content on it, as well as Dropbox. They also had this possibility, but then they kind of like disabled that functionality from their side. Now we can only share files using Google Drive. You cannot really host a website on it or anything. Maybe there's some workarounds, but you'll have to check that. I would still recommend getting iSpring Clouds or like a server. It will make it so much easier than having to figure out something with Google Drive. That doesn't really work for that. Do you have to have iSpring Learn? I think I answered that question. You can email the results to yourself. You can have a different LMS. Finally, there's an option of sending results to a server, but that will require you to have some programming skills to set up the server, to have a script that will capture those results. That's sure a topic on its own. Will the email tell you who are doing the quiz? Yeah, the thing is that in Quizmaker, along with the intro slides in introduction, you can add this thing called user info. And what it does, it makes the students or whoever is taking the quiz enter their information before they can proceed. And that information, it gets sent with the email results. So yeah, there is a way how you can request that information and capture that too. Then some of my clients get the results of their users via email. Those clients request that the email only shows passed or failed and not all the other details. Is there a possibility to do that? Uh, yeah, there is. If I go to properties to reporting and check the option send report to instructor, we can control whether we want to see a detailed report that includes all the answers and feedback, or we just want to see a simple passed or failed result. And that's exactly how it's going to be right now, that I don't have this checkbox enabled. I just have to enter my email here and then save and publish. Okay, next one. I had an issue with students receiving a completion certificate before they completed the quiz, which was required. Can you explain how to remedy that? It is tough to say what was the reason exactly. I would probably say that the complete status was sent to the system, and probably you were not only using a quiz in your LMS, but a course with a quiz. So that has to do with the completion settings. In any case, just send us an email to support. We'll figure it out, I think. Now, on to the next one. Can you say something about the shuffle answers option? Can I edit the content of the result page option or not show the results page at all? Yes, to both questions. We can shuffle or not shuffle the answers inside the question, like we can shuffle or not shuffle the questions themselves. This is that checkbox that is doing that. And for quiz results, if you don't want to see that slide or if you want to hide the results, there's an option for that too. like if I do it so, select the show slide without results, I will now only have one slide that will look like this. Just need to change it to thank you for completing this quiz. Or maybe if I don't want that slide at all, I can simply select hide result slide, and that will not show the slide at all. The other settings you have on those result slides include giving additional attempts to users, which are set separately for passed and failed results. So like if someone failed the quiz, we might just say, hey, you did not pass it, just close the tab, or you can give them an additional try or maybe a few tries. And this is done through that menu. So now there's this retry quiz button, which will, when someone click on it, let them take the quiz one more time if they didn't pass the first time. Please describe how to properly set up for practicing, where you want to reinforce information, but I do not want to know those results. But then at the end of the course, I would do a quiz and would want to get those results. In this case, you just have to have a few quizzes in your course. The first one will be the one that's for practice, and that should have multiple attempts for the quiz. That can have multiple attempts for the individual questions, even unlimited attempts. And then later in the course will be the final quiz that will be sending those results to you. So the first one will not be rated, will not send any results, and the last one will actually be the rated one, which will be sending results to you. I recall it's been suggested that you shouldn't store iSpring presentation files in the cloud. Is this still true? And if so, is it also true for quizzes? You do not have to worry about storing them in iSpring clouds, like in this service. Generally, it's not a good practice to store a presentation for iSpring Suites with the content that's linked to it on a like shared drive or a clouds-based service like a Dropbox folder that is synced with Dropbox. So that is not a good practice. But when you publish to clouds, that has nothing to do with any issues. So yeah, that's totally safe. With the report, is there a way to receive information on what question people are having difficulties, but not so detailed that provides the time that people spend on each question? That would be something that only an LMS can do. So you have those multiple results coming in, and you need to have a server, a database for all those results that will be capable of analyzing the results in like a batch. Uh, this is exactly what LMSs are made for. You upload a quiz to it, a bunch of people take the quiz, and then all their data is being gathered. For example, iSpring Learn does this. You have this answer breakdown report, which you run, and it shows you the percentage of like who answered A, B, and C, or maybe who answered A, or who picked all of the responses. Um, that's something that only an LMS can do. Could a certificate of completion be sent from the quiz when you don't have the LMS? Okay, this is actually difficult because HTML5 content, it cannot actually like generate something because there are certain restrictions for this format. But as far as I know, there is a custom solution that we can offer. That will be a separate agreement. So you just have to hit us up on the support inbox. Um, we'll try to figure something out. Not sure if it's still available, but you have to check. Is there a way to manage certificates within iSpring Suites, or is that managed through the LMS? Yeah, it is managed through the LMS. Where do we set the number of attempts someone is allowed to pass the quiz? We want to allow 3 attempts. I think that was answered before with results, and 2 additional attempts will make 3 times in total. I see variables within some of the slides. Is there a list of allowed variables available online? Yeah, there is. Those include username, like what I entered here on the user info slide, um, the pass score, awarded score. You can use those variables on slides. Nothing too fancy, but you might have some use for that. It, if Polina's gonna save that question for me, I'm gonna send you a link later today. Okay. On the last slide, do you have a close button to give credits for the quiz? Um, Usually it's enough to just close the tab with the quiz, but you can have a close button. So this is what this option stands for. It can close the browser tab in which quiz is open, or it can go to a certain URL, or you might not want to show the close button at all. So yeah, there is a close button. Can the question ID number be changed or customized? The ID is automatic generally. I mean, it's generated automatically. Sorry, I'm starting to say all sorts of things. Um, yeah, it's just generated randomly. You cannot really change that. Also, if that gives you any issues, just send us an email to support. So you change the question type to survey when you do not want the results sent to you. Is that correct? No, it is not correct because survey type, it does not have any correct responses. If we go to a question that we created and select survey, you see that I do not have those checkboxes anymore. Surveys are just a way of learning what people think, not learning what they know about something. Um, Certainly not do the survey type, use graded always, but do not send the results to yourself, or in iSpring Suite, if you have quizzes, do not rate those quizzes in the completion settings. Is it possible to have a retake quiz and start at the beginning of training at the end of the quiz? Yes, it's possible in iSpring Suite. Also, I will send you an email with the detailed steps and how to do that after the webinar, if that's okay. Do we have someone still in the webinar? Oh, there's 65 people still. Do we have any other questions left?
I think you actually covered all the questions, but there was one um, about if it is possible to create something like a poll type of question within Quizmaker, like the one we did here on the webinar.
Okay. It will not be possible to do a live poll because you publish a quiz, you upload it to your website. It does not have a certain like back end side of it. It's just a quiz that you see in the browser. And to display something like that, a live poll, it has to have this type of back end. So it would be another application that can do that. Quizzes are simply content. They do not have like server side of things to gather results and show them to you in real time.
So,
There's one more question, I think.
yep.
Is it possible to have a quiz and a survey in a single course? Yeah, it is possible, sure. When you select a slide and you click on the quiz button to create a new quiz, you just have to select survey the first time, and the second time select quiz on the other slide. You can also mix questions of different types within the same quiz. I can have this question survey and this one graded, so it's not a problem at all.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining us today. We very much appreciate it. Thanks to you, Paul, for doing this amazing presentation. I think it was wonderful. Like I said before, short and sweet. And we'll see you guys at the next webinar. Bye, everybody. Bye. All. Have a great day.
Goodbye, guys. Thank you all.